Welcome to the Coronavirus Weekly Brief. We're your hosts. I'm David Sterman.
And I'm Emily Schneider. Here are the headlines you need to know.
After weeks of surging cases and a subsequent high death toll, new COVID-19 cases are falling in the United States again. On average, the number of new cases across the country is 40% lower than it was 3 weeks ago. Hospitalizations are down, as is the test positivity rate, indicating reduced spread. Experts are hopeful that the decrease heralds a turning point. However, that hope is edged with caution as more contagious variants pop up around the country. Officials have warned that a variant from the UK could become the dominant strain in the US by March, and a handful of cases of variants first identified in Brazil and South Africa have surfaced as well. Experts say that the residents of most US counties remain at high risk of contracting the virus and urge residents to continue adhering to public health guidelines.
The decline in cases has been even more pronounced in nursing homes, which have been prioritized in the rollout. Deaths throughout the pandemic have been particularly high in nursing homes. Experts say the steep drop in nursing home cases is encouraging and indicative of the role vaccines are playing in halting COVID-19 transmission. Still, the vaccine rollout has been frustratingly slow in some facilities, and officials continue to work on getting vaccines to residents and staff.
Johnson & Johnson announced Friday that their COVID-19 vaccine is on average 66% effective in protecting against the disease. However, this effectiveness varied widely by region in the United States. Effectiveness was 72%, the number dropped to 66% in Latin America, and 57% in South Africa. The discrepancy adds to concerns over viral variants in South Africa. For instance, the variant driving most cases contains mutations that are thought to partially evade vaccines. Though the efficacy is lower than that of vaccines by Pfizer and Moderna, each boasting an efficacy of about 95%, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is still considered effective by scientists. Flu vaccines, for instance, tend to be around 40 to 60% effective in any given year. Importantly, global clinical trials showed that Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is 85% effective in preventing severe cases of COVID-19.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine also has several logistical advantages over the Pfizer and Moderna shots. It can be kept in a normal refrigerator for up to 2 years, making it easier to ship and store in smaller and more rural clinics, which often lack the cold storage capacity needed for the Pfizer and Moderna shots. It also requires only one dose, speeding administration and removing the logistical challenges of calling people back for second doses. Johnson & Johnson plans to seek emergency use authorization in the U.S. in early February, putting it on track for approval by the end of this month. The U.S. has pre-ordered 100 million doses of the vaccine, though the company said it will have only 10 million ready to go in February. Globally, Johnson & Johnson plans to distribute 1 billion doses this year.
Timetables for vaccinating a majority of people in order to effectively curb the spread of COVID-19 are slipping in many countries, raising fears that much of the world will be under lockdown for most of 2021. Health experts and economists have seen the slow vaccine rollouts in parts of Europe, Asia, and Latin America, and concluded that many countries will not have their populations vaccinated by late summer, which was the initial goal that many politicians had declared. Some countries, including Germany and Mexico, are running into problems sourcing vaccines. Other countries, like Japan and South Korea, are in no hurry to begin vaccination campaigns, preferring instead to wait, watch, and learn from other countries' mistakes. The Wall Street Journal writes, quote, at the current rates of vaccination, only about 10% of the world would be inoculated by the end of the year and 21% by the close of 2022. UBS says just 10 countries are on track to vaccinate more than 1/3 of their population this year. The UBS data includes hard-hit middle-income countries such as South Africa, where vaccination rates are expected to be painfully slow, though some countries it measured are expected to increase the pace of vaccination soon.
In a letter to President Biden on Sunday, 10 Republicans sought a meeting with him to pitch a bipartisan deal on a COVID relief bill, which would be slimmer than what Democrats have pushed in the past. The letter was signed by Senator Susan Collins and proposed a bill that would include $160 billion for testing, vaccines, personal protective equipment, and treatment. The overall bill would cost about $600 billion, according to Senator Cassidy, who also signed the letter. In contrast, the Democratic proposal would cost $9 trillion and would include more economic assistance and $1,400 direct checks, while Republicans seek to restrict the provision of checks via greater means testing and would only provide $1,000. The GOP proposal would also provide fewer funds for schools, and it would also not include a proposal to increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour.
The Republican proposal is the first stimulus proposal from them since Biden's announcement of his desired plan. It comes as the Biden administration and Senate Democratic leadership have signaled a willingness to negotiate, but have also suggested they would be willing to pass the bill on a straight party line vote through reconciliation, which would not require 60 votes to break a filibuster. The letter stated regarding its slimmer proposal, quote, "We believe that this plan could be approved quickly by Congress with bipartisan support," unquote. In turn, Brian Dees, who heads Biden's National Economic Council, told CNN, "We received the letter and we certainly will be reviewing it over the course of the day." According to the Washington Post, President Biden will meet with the senators today, Monday, for a full exchange of views, according to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
To see our daily brief, go to the address in our show notes and follow us on Twitter @NewAmericaISP.
The Coronavirus Weekly Brief was produced by Shannon Lynch and Jason Stewart and was edited by Shannon Lynch. This podcast is brought to you by New America and Arizona State University.